The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh. Got my hustle on, no imitation of that. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heart throb in my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too feeble and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
Earnestly Podcast coming to you Tuesday, March 18th, 2025. I hope all you guys here listen to the podcast live here on X, on YouTube, on what am I on? Facebook as well too. Also, hope you guys had a safe Patty's Day. You know, of course, I kept my ass in the house because I don't trust y'all motherfuckers out on the road. But of course, join here now. But it's been a little while though. Although we did attempt to do this show last week, Tuesday. We got 7 minutes into the podcast, and then it started happening, and we couldn't. And plus, you were sick on top of that too, also. So we ended up able to continue our pod last week to review NFL free agency. It is, of course, the student game. Of course, Kyle Nash, first pod in about a month now. I think a little over a month. What's up, bud?
Yeah, no, hey, listen, this is what happens when you live in fear of my NBA analysis being superior.
And that's bullshit. Next.
Excuse me. Can you wait till I finish the plugs before
Excuse me. Don't
be rude.
Excuse me.
Anyways, this is what happens when you're afraid of my superior NBA knowledge, which you can find in my coverage of the Orlando Magic on Fans First Sports Network. See, it's called entertaining people. And then you go, oh, Boosie. Yeah, whatever. You know, the people see the evidence. They can make their own decisions, you know.
Whatever, Kyle.
You resisting is just like your boy Trump lying. It's a thing that you do.
All right, we'll get to all some of the transactions I ironed out here to the side.
Yes.
I want to get grades for those transactions.
Right.
Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers first. Aaron Rodgers, as of right now, has not decided on a team. We heard that it was between the Giants, the Steelers, and then the Vikings were actually a wild card as well too, as to where he would sign. Now, I saw a report that came in yesterday that Aaron Rodgers may not decide on a team as far as he may not decide on a team till closer to NFL draft, which by the way is in late April.
Okay, and let's not panic about that. Like,
right.
In NFL terms, it's one thing when it's after the draft or coming up to the draft. Waiting a month sounds insane, especially if it's during camp. Waiting a month sounds insane. But when you're waiting between the month of March and April, no one cares. In the words of Omar Epps / Mike Tomlin, we do not care. Not to mention, I'm not sure how much I buy all this interest. All right. This is kind of like in Hollywood. People take meetings all the time with no real expectation of a project coming out of it. Like Keanu Reeves could go to your mom's house. That doesn't mean he's making a movie about her. Okay. So I don't know how real any of those inquiries are beyond the Steelers and Giants, I'll say. You know, and I know Darnold's moved on. That's why they're having the conversation. But come on, they got J.J. McCarthy in the building, and they already know that Aaron Charles Rodgers is toxic. It's lying season. I think there's a lot of whispering and stuff out there, too. So don't believe everything you hear out on the interwebs about the NFL kids.
So you're saying that the whole and for the record, let me tell you my opinion for the record, of the three teams, his best fit is probably football-wise, is probably Minnesota of the three.
I don't know that I agree with that, but go ahead.
Explain why. Explain.
Well, what are you defining as his fit? The only reason why it could be a good fit is because there's Justin Jefferson. That's about it.
Well, and the kid Addison too, also number 2 receiver.
No, that doesn't make it a lock either, because the reason why you need the elite receiver is because that's the closest thing he'll have to a Devontae Adams, right? I mean, Addison's cool. Don't get it twisted, but like all that does is make Justin Jefferson more of a weapon overall because it takes attention away. You know, no one here is saying that Aaron Charles Rodgers is a bad quarterback throughout the length of his career. But to be honest, you would need a desperate franchise to take him. The Vikings are not that. I just don't see that working out.
No, right. And I think I don't think they fits the timeline necessarily either. I was saying though before that if you talk about culture, if you trust the culture still, which I do personally, obviously culture wise, the Steelers are a better fit because of Mike Tomlin, what he's put together there.
Think about that. Think about that. Let's put some wheels on that, okay? Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell both challenged the Pittsburgh Steelers. And who are the ones still left standing? But Kyle, the Steelers haven't won a playoff game. Yeah. And when's the last time AB or Le'Veon Bell played in a playoff game? I know that AB could have, but he walked off the field without his shirt before he did. So, there's that.
Right. Yeah. So any predictions? Obviously, you have those three teams still hanging in the balance. Obviously, probably two at this point now. And then, of course, there's always the retirement angle.
I really think he's done. I do. Now, granted, maybe he'll get desperate enough and make himself available with an offer to another team that he cannot refuse.
Right.
I'll put it this way. Aaron Charles Rodgers' ego, and I'm not saying it's bad that he has one, by the way, is going to be what pans all this out. Because you and I both know he has other options. Hell, he can get a shit ton of cash and still be a regular on Pat McAfee's show and draw. Granted,
do you find him interesting though? I don't. Do you think he'll have a market?
It doesn't matter if I find him interesting.
Well, I'm asking you though, like your opinion.
He's against the grain enough that, I think there's something there. If Draymond Green can carry a podcast, you're going to try to tell me Aaron Charles Rodgers can't?
But Draymond Green is a pretty interesting guy, though. Let's be real.
I'm not saying you don't think Aaron Rodgers is
not really. I don't find him as interesting as you realize.
Okay, well, that's because you're a racist. I'm joking.
Wow. Wow, let's just jump the fucking shark here now, can't we? Let's go.
Whoa. You do the best Trump impression here on the internet, and then you're surprised that I would hint that you're racist.
Well, I mean, he's my neighbor. I mean, I literally live like 15 minutes from Mar-a-Lago. My job is literally 5 minutes from Mar-a-Lago.
So again,
don't be rude. Don't be rude.
We're connecting the dots. That's all. Listen.
I'm friends with the guy. I just have proximity of the guy. That's all.
I think, no doubt.
Yeah.
I think Draymond and Aaron Rodgers are closer together than you give them credit. Granted, I don't think Aaron Rodgers will just randomly kick a guy in the nuts or choke a bitch, but there's some overlap in their presentation styles, I think.
Yeah.
And in either case, there's definitely a direct access thing. Now, what's interesting is I'm waiting for the day where somebody has something to say. Oh, stop it.
So DT, my boy Dane Thompson of ESPN saying Aaron Rodgers by Minnesota by midseason. Midseason what? Next year? No.
Yeah, that's what
no. That hardly ever happens in the NFL as is.
Well, here's the thing. What he's trying to say is he thinks JJ McCarthy's going to get hurt again, which okay. It's possible. It makes when you put that wild card on the table, because the way we're talking about it, we're talking about week one starter. If somebody loses a quarterback early, which seems to happen every year now, in the same way that, gosh, there's so many examples, I can't zero in on one.
Just pick one.
But whether it's Kyle Orton, Drew Bledsoe, going back to your boy, Steve DeBerg in Miami there, right?
Steve DeBerg.
Random veterans are called in to fill in. Who was it? It was Joe Flacco.
Waka Flacco?
And then who was it? It was the guy that replaced.
Place who? I'll tell you.
I'm working on it. Somebody. Jason Campbell got hurt in Oakland. Carson Palmer. There we go. He got hurt in Oakland. Then they tried Kyle Bowler for 2 weeks and realized not Kyle Bowler. Jason Campbell. Jason Campbell got hurt. They tried a different guy, and then here came Carson Palmer to clean it all up. It might have been Kyle Bowler. I don't think I'm getting my.
How about was in Baltimore? Jason Campbell's in Washington.
No. Eventually, they ended up in Oakland. God damn it!
Yeah, okay.
Because the only
you're
reason
the Raiders.
that
Then there you go.
Yeah, the only reason that team didn't make the playoffs was because Tebow time took place. This is how far back we're going, buddy.
2011. Yeah.
So
I said all when this podcast started. This podcast started during Tebow time.
I remember that now. You refused.
I met you a year later, though. You
refused to sip on the Tebow juice. Me, I only did it for that season because it was a fun ride.
Oh, it was fun. I mean, Tebow's a good kid. I root for the guy.
Yeah,
he's younger than me.
You were just jealous that he got to date Kate Upton and you didn't. And
guilty as charged. But I have Miss Christian. I have Mrs. Christian, so I'm good.
Oh yeah, no one didn't. No one said you
maybe.
Yeah. Hey, listen,
you might be watching this too.
Exactly. The advisory voice of the podcast here. Who listen, I good times. Shouts to Mrs. Christian. But at day's end, I can't rule out the possibility. He says Minnesota. That's oddly specific, targeting JJ or maybe he just thinks JJ McCarthy's going to be an outright failure. Possible.
It's in play. You can't rule it out.
But your boy Danny Dimes is supposed to save the day, isn't he?
He's not even available anymore, buddy. Which leads to this. We agree though. Wherever Rodgers goes, most likely Russell Wilson ends up the opposite team. So if Rodgers goes to the Steelers, for example, we agree that most likely the Giants are going to take Russell Wilson, right? Do you agree with that format?
Okay, here's the reason why I think the answer to those is neither of the above.
Okay.
Both are guys that are notorious for being secluded off to the side and having their ego and personality.
Right.
Do you want that around Shedeur Sanders? Yes, I'm making the assumption that Shedeur Sanders goes third to your Giants.
Which I hope happens still for the record.
That would be great. From a media standpoint, it would be great.
Yeah. It's a fair point. But I imagine Russ is still mature enough to handle the situation.
Handle it, yes. Make it avoid it becoming a headline, yes. Being actually helpful in the growth of Shedeur Sanders, probably not. Now, that being said, the Sanders as a clan have so much reach that he could be getting advice and texting Tom Brady for all I friggin' know, so.
Right.
Which would be ironic that he would seek Tom Brady as a mentor, as a member of the Giants, who beat your boy Tom Brady in the Super Bowl twice, man. Those must have been rough games for you, buddy.
Yeah. Anyway, calm down. All right. Let's throw some letter grades here for all the big transactions that happened in the NFL free agency so far. We have first off the big one from this past the day or so ago. The Bengals I've reportedly tied up not just Jamar Chase, but also T. Higgins. Numbers on Higgins is still not out yet, but I know Jamar Chase is not the highest paid non-quarterback ever in the history of the NFL.
Which was previously held by Myles Garrett just 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, something like that. I'm a little stunned this happened mainly because of the fact that, let's be real, we know the history of the Bengals and Mike Brown's the owner. Pretty cheap. Worst food in the cafeteria, worst gym in the league, worst stadium probably in the league. You name it.
Still buying their own sodas. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? And guess what? That would not surprise me. It would not surprise me. But the fact that he tied up, I don't think it's arguable. I think they probably might be the best receiving tandem in the league. Give them a grade.
So. There's so many things to attack with this signing. You make the statement of best tandem. I'm not prepared to rule that out, but I would like some time to review because there's been a lot of movement. There could be some other things going on. So many receiver cores are completely different now. Just take the Seahawks, for example. They've completely revamped their receiver core, but now they have Cooper.
But they ain't better than fucking T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, though.
Just relax. I'm talking about the movement, not the value. Just chill your panties there, Chief. Okay.
Sorry. Change.
You presenting that, certainly that's the bar, right? So we'll leave that at that. The downside, here's where I'm conflicted on how to grade this. It's amazing you kept all those assets in the building. You still don't have any fucking defense.
It's true.
So, our boy Mikey the Burn Bernier
Mikey B
of the Huddle Up podcast is all excited that they kept him, and that's great. You still can't stop anybody. And by the way, Trey Hendrickson may not stay in the building himself. So
He's not signed yet, is he? To anything, right?
I don't believe he is. No.
Right. So what grade would you give this one? I still give it an A because you still tie. I mean, the fact that you tie these two guys up is amazing. Now, obviously, cap-wise could be an issue.
I don't know how to grade this. It's amazing that all of it got pulled off, but it wasn't necessarily great for the team.
You know, I tell you what.
Pause it real quick. I got
to product. We're live. I mean, if I'm going to pause this, we're live, buddy.
We went live. Great.
We're live. We can't pause shit. What are you trying? You got a phone call coming in?
Yeah, I do. No, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I'll tell you what. Don't grade anything. We'll just give like.
No, it's fine. But I'll say this. I'm going to call it a C because, like I said, it's amazing you pulled it off. But I have no idea how the hell it's going to help the team long term.
Correct. And that is actually the correct answer.
It's Brown investing in his investment that is Joey Burr. And my bad, dude. I completely forgot we were live.
Get your mind right, buddy.
It's not like I perform any different, exactly. Whether we're live or not.
Get your mind right, number one. Guys, we're also live on. I said,
get your mind right, bro.
Podcast on YouTube.
For all the times
you promote my show here.
For all the times you use your children as an excuse, it's spring break, Humpy Bumpy. I got moving back over here. I had to get right.
That's next week for me. That's next week.
What do you want? A cookie?
Well. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, somebody does it to you.
I finished mine last night, so I need more.
Oh yeah, well you could actually take metformin. You diabetic, so and so.
Are you jealous?
A little bit, asshole. Next topic.
By the way, I'll start to promote the show. We're actually live right now on YouTube at Earnestly Podcast on YouTube. We're live also on my X page / Twitter at EJ Christian 7. We're also live on Facebook on my Facebook page as well. Also, this show you can find on demand as well after we are done, and the podcast, of course, audio only on Earnestly Podcast across any podcast catcher. All right, next transaction I want to dive into.
My apologies for interrupting your plug, by the way.
No worries. Okay.
I'd literally just complained at you about.
You want to hug? You want to hug it out later? Let's go hug it out.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Remember, you big fluffy bastard. I love you.
Okay, 7-5. Myles Garrett stays in Cleveland, buddy.
This is an A for me. A- at worst, because understanding the state of this franchise, keeping somebody who's a star in the building. Huge, absolutely huge. What they do in this draft with the number 2 pick might be the most significant number 2 pick we've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Will they get a quarterback? Won't they? If Tennessee decides on Shedeur, they won't. I would not be surprised to see them go Cam Ward. But they could just as easily go Abdul Carter and make their defense absolutely nasty, potentially the likes of which we haven't seen since the last Tomlin Super Bowl win, right? They could go Mason Graham and maybe inspire the same thing. Hell, I don't know. There's just so many ways they can go, but they need to decide on that direction. It's a good problem to have that the Browns have, but securing Myles Garrett was a big deal, calling his bluff, all of that. And I know everybody's like, with a number of deals out there, oh, they paid too much. Understand, folks, the salary cap is rising. Giving players of this caliber, be it the Jamar Chases, be it the Myles Garretts, being even the DK Metcalfs out there, everybody's bitching about that deal, to lean into the raised salary cap is part of some potential 4D chess that franchises are doing, and I'm not necessarily against it.
Yeah, I thought the only thing I would have said was that this might be the perfect time to pivot, to get where they're at as a franchise in terms of like the cap situation. Deshaun Watson's time of a lot of their cap because they were idiots to guarantee him the entire contract, and yes, they restructured and all that, but a chance to reset by trading your best asset in Garrett, get back like a first rounder, maybe even 2, who knows? Maybe even think about trading the second pick in the draft, who knows? Get more assets back for that. I thought they might have missed a perfect opportunity to really, really reset in a smart way.
I'm saying they're going to do that with Myles Garrett, because the thing about a pivot, let's do our physics lesson, right? The thing about a pivot is you still need some fulcrum and level of force upon which to pivot, or with which to pivot from, I should say. So right. You need some sort of foundation, like, when you put stakes in the ground for a tent or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
It keeps things from floating away. Now, think of it as a screw in the wall, and you're turning like whether it's like a crank or a handle or something,
Right.
you still at the end of the day have Myles Garrett there, which there's something to be said. What are the three most important positions allegedly, right? The guy that throws the ball, the guy that protects the guy that throws the ball, the guy that goes after the guy that throws the ball.
Correct. Right.
So they at least have one of those three things set for a significant period of time in the future.
And he's 29, right? 29 years old, 30 years old ish.
I think he turns.
It doesn't matter at this point. But he's definitely in his peak. He's definitely in his peak of his powers.
He is in his prime, which is why him getting that number does make sense. Yes.
Makes sense, but also you probably could have gotten the highest bidder on that one too. Also, like I said, I see both arguments. I'm never against holding your best player to your team, but if there's a chance to pivot, given where you are as a franchise, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to do.
Yeah, he turns 30 during the upcoming season, and the good news is with his contract, such as I'm looking at it, it's more front loaded. I'll put it that way.
Okay, so they get out of the forest pretty early. Okay, cool.
All right. Relatively early, yeah. Like he's not really an awful like if they keep him for 3 years, the dead cap money is 15. Well, actually, no. Now that I'm looking at it closer, I might need more time to understand it. So
no worries. No worries.
But it looks like there's kind of a poison pill element here too. I have to think about. So
okay. Anyways. All right. Geno Smith to the Raiders, traded to the Raiders, and then signed an extension.
Sure. Pete Carroll doing Pete Carroll shit, man. This is why I was never fond of the Pete Carroll hire in Las Vegas. We keep talking about how Pete Carroll's old and out of touch and just doesn't know how to handle offenses in the NFL. And then he does this and we're excited about it. I don't understand. This does nothing to move the needle for the Raiders for me that I see. I mean, what is it that they actually accomplished here? I don't think they're better than the Broncos right now. I think they're still the worst team in the AFC West. This move did nothing.
That's not in the conversation. I think they're the clear worst team, right? I think right now you have 3 playoff teams in the division.
What does bringing
and the Raiders
Geno do? Yeah, I mean, it's not a mistake, but
it gives you maybe a win or 2 more.
And that does what precisely?
Nothing in that division. Where is that now? So, also in addition to that, DK Metcalf, also the Seahawks, traded to the Steelers, then signed a 6-year, $150 million extension.
Yeah, and I cited him early as much as people like, oh, that's too much. You could tell that the Steelers are leaning into 2 things. A, having a guy into the future, which if you think DK Metcalf's too old for that, fine.
He's only 27, I think, 27, 28.
I'll look it up, but
I know that's what it is. I did it last night research.
Okay, well then perfect. So he's in his prime, and what you're setting up is for another guy alongside of Pickens to set a foundation for the quarterback you might get. Now, I don't think what that answer isn't in this offseason, right? This is the Steelers retooling rather than rebuilding, and they'll probably make the playoffs again, right?
Because the Steelers and Mikey T.
But I think I don't know who it is, but I think they're looking for the next quarterback in the upcoming draft. Well, whoever that might be.
Well, depending on where they land on that. Yeah. To me, I look at it slightly different than you a little bit. I agree with most of what you said there, except the fact I think this is also sayonara to George Pickens, whether or not it's after this year or they trade him before the year's over. Because I think after everything we heard with George Pickens in the locker room, they don't normally do these kind of splashy deals like this. So for them to go out of the way to do this is bad news to George Pickens.
Yeah, you are right. It is atypical, and I can't find any details on his contract. But yeah, he turns 28 during the season, so that certainly serves your point well.
Right.
But it might be something to light a fire under George Pickens' butt too. I mean, I feel like both these sides need each other. They're just staring each other down as to realizing who needs the other more.
Right. Fair point. All right, we got Devontae Adams going to the Rams. He got cut by the Jets, and then he still got paid 2 years, $48 million. I think it was.
Yeah, I like it.
I love it. I love the deal.
It's 2 years, which if we see John Matthew Stafford last 2 more years, I will be surprised. Alongside Puka Nacua, this writes itself, man. Probably my favorite receiver deal that I've seen so far.
Yeah, Stafford re-signed with the Rams, which obviously was an angle to get more money. And, of course, Devontae Adams, 2-year deal. It fits the timeline for the Rams. The conversation now about that is, does this move, added with Stafford, make the Rams, if not number one in the NFC, because I think we'll agree to the Eagles is with a bullet.
It gets them to win the West.
Yeah, I think the West is a lock at this point now to see where things are going. All 3 of the teams.
Ain't nothing about that damn.
We'll get there in a second, but yeah. I think this move for keeping Adams, signing Adams, keeping Stafford. Yeah, you lose Cooper Kupp, I get it, injury prone though, but also seeing what we saw last year with that defense late in the year, I think they're in position to be the second best team in the NFC right next to Detroit.
They're in the conversation.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know that they are built to survive a marathon. There's a lot of injury-prone dudes.
Oh, yeah.
But the good news is that defense is young enough to where that's less of an issue. Yeah. I think Adams over Kupp is an upgrade. Adams is familiar with LA, blah, 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 blah. I mean, the only downside for him is the taxes. Am I right? But I feel like offensively they're on thin ice. So granted, all of this is without them augmenting themselves through the draft. They may actually solidify some things. And the great thing about the Rams is you essentially don't have to concentrate on defense. I'm sure they could fill some needs. I'm not here to say they're perfect.
Yeah.
But you can now focus, tool up in the draft, and have John Matthew Stafford lead this group. Puka Nacua is old enough to where he could be an example. Devontae Adams also the same. Hell, if they can provide adequate protection, this is a challenging group and certainly the favorite in the NFC West at this juncture.
Well, stay in the NFC West. Sam Darnold signs with the Seahawks.
That's fascinating, isn't it? The irony of the fact that we've established when you provide Darnold support, he can win. Seahawks aren't prepared to support him like he needs.
This is a sneaky. So this is a sneaky like rebuild kind of situation because basically if we were to read what we've heard the last couple of weeks, Geno wanted more money. He wanted something in the $40 million a year range,
which is asinine.
Seattle told him no. You're allowed to ask. It's okay. Told him no. And then they trade Sam Darnold. They trade Geno, get assets back. Obviously, you sign Darnold here for less money they would have paid Geno.
Right.
Okay, so they save money on the quarterback by about $10 million a year. Okay, and they get a chance to still kind of tinker around the edges and see where they're at as a franchise.
That's a very optimistic outlook.
But are they any better than they were last year? No. At best,
that's the issue. Darnold is useless unless you already have the foundation, right? A better arrival point might have been, for example, like a San Francisco, who ironically he's already played for, right? Yeah. I don't think San Francisco would have paid him what he wanted, knowing what they know about him, right? And just there's so many other factors there. I think another better example might be, let's say, who's somebody that was. This is hard. I think Minnesota was the best landing spot, but I get it if you didn't want to pay him.
Yeah, especially with the fact that they have the quarterback behind them who they just drafted high last year. You got to see where we're at with that one. So I get it.
That's a whole other question.
Yeah, Najee Harris to the Chargers.
That's interesting. Seeing what Najee Harris can do with a Harbaugh is fascinating. And I'm not just saying that from my boy, Big Jim Neese of Huddle Up Podcast.
So we're doing that now. He's now officially a Chargers fan. We're done with the Cowboys, right?
How the fuck is that new?
No, I mean, like
first of all, we've already established, Ernest Christian, that you can't spell Jim John Harbaugh without I am a homer. Second, James John Harbaugh. You can't spell I am James John Harbaugh without I am a homer. Okay. Second, this dude's wearing a Charger hat on his fucking show.
No, I get it.
It's out of the bag. Who's got it better than him? Nobody.
Also, you see that stat also too that Najee Harris is only the 5th running back in this century to rush for 1,000 yards for 5 straight years, in company with Chris Johnson, Adrian Peterson, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Clinton Portis.
Boy, he did that quietly, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Now, having said all that, the Steelers, I know that I would not pay a running back unless your name is Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry. I'm not paying you more than $10 million more a year. Now,
especially with this upcoming draft class,
right? And with this is what I think the Chargers actually won this deal too. Also, yeah, it's $10 million a year, but it's only 1 year. It's just 1 year, and they have a boatload of cap room.
Rental is good, but and can you imagine how excited Harbaugh is going to be to open that present, man? Just saying.
Right. Also, the Chargers, Khalil Mack stays with another year. The Chargers, like I think 1 year, I think $14 million. Again, they got cap room to spend.
I'm
year deal.
Surprised they were able to hold on to Mack. Yeah, that's a big deal. But they need somebody. They're losing Bosa. All
right.
that.
And I think also it might be also because of the culture. Harbaugh's setting the culture there now. I think players love playing for him, so maybe he wants to stay there and try to look. I think the Chargers have a real chance this year to win the West and maybe make some noise in the AFC. Because KC, we expect KC to be a little bit, I'll say a downturn, but KC is definitely vulnerable right now.
Why? What makes them more vulnerable now than they were last year?
I don't think they've got the roster gotten any, so far anyway. The roster gotten any better than last year's.
Okay. Well,
it wasn't like they separated themselves from the pack in a big way.
But this is a point we made last year. When you're a Super Bowl team, how do you make yourself better? And this is why I made 2024 one of the Chiefs one of the best off seasons in just maintaining that greatness they accomplished a butt ton.
And a little older too on the edges too. Not saying Mahomes is old, but Kelsey's back next year. He's a little older, still good, but older.
I am not prepared to say anything about the Chiefs' dominance waning until I see their draft.
Right. And that's what I'm holding up too. Right.
Yeah, on a dime, because he's done it before. Andy Reid can transform the franchise.
Yeah, I agree, and that's what I'm saying. I stopped short of saying it's going to happen. I'm saying there's opportunity there. I think
that's the only dime we've ever seen transform a franchise for the better. Am I right? Got him.
And in the transaction, I called the best transaction of this offseason, Laremy Tunsil to the Commanders.
That is not the best transaction of the offseason.
I am surprised you're saying that.
Did you see how many picks they threw at? They did. You know how the Commanders got Laremy Tunsil, which I'm glad they did it. Let's be clear. It was your wording I dislike.
Okay.
It was not the best transaction. The Commies overpaid for an aging tackle who at one point in the season last year led the league in holding. Okay.
I'm looking up the stats here real quick.
He's probably like
he's 30.
He's in the late part of his prime, right?
He's 30.
That's aging in NFL years, my guy.
Well, even that, I'm not saying it wrong.
Listen.
I'm surprised though, because you are a O-line guy.
You're goddamn right. Let me land the plane here. This is my house. Let me show you the credentials again for those who haven't seen the Aaron Evans original of me and my offensive lineman glory. I got this. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I just did a mock draft for the Jacksonville Jaguars that you could check out on Twitter where I had 4 offensive linemen in that sumbitch. Granted, I had like 12 picks because I did a lot of trades, but I digress. The punchline's this. Actually, yeah, you saw it this morning. It was in the text group with me and our friend GWSTWALIO. So, shouts to Gee Steelio.
Mm-hmm.
I know why they did it. Clearly, their weakest point. This is the team that used to have our boy Trent Williams, right? They're trying to get Jaden Daniels a fraction of that protection, which is still a butt ton, especially in a division that features your defending Super Bowl champions who completely emasculated Patrick LaVon Mahomes II.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
With all of that, they overpaid. That doesn't mean they shouldn't have overpaid, but they overpaid.
You also have the cap room and the space to do that, because when you nail the quarterback in the first year, who's probably a top 5 guy in the league right now, and all the cap room they have the space to make all these flashy moves now.
And let me rephrase, by the way, when I say overpaid, I don't care what the contract is that they end up giving Tunsil. That's not. By the way, I'm a Laremy Tunsil guy. Mm-hmm. Was super excited to get to cover him back when I was with Antoine Staley at the Dolphins Wire. Okay. He made Ryan Tannehill productive in Miami. Just throwing that out there. So, all that being said, I think when I say that the Red Tails, Commanders overpaid, I mean with the trade. And they threw 4 picks at them, buddy.
No, I get it. No, I totally get it. All right. Max Crosby extends to the Raiders. So another Myles Garrett type situation.
Yeah, indubitably. I like that better than I like Geno. That's easy. That's easy. Because if you're going to succeed in the AFC West, you have to disturb Patrick LaVon Mahomes. Can we just examine the quarterbacks in the division quickly? Right?
Yeah, go ahead. Right.
Patty Mahomes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Justin Herbert, even though everybody's decided they want to crap on him now. Your boy Bradley set that up, by the way, wasting years off of his career. Then is Bo Nix third? I think so.
Yeah, and on the come up too.
Yeah, somebody's going to get angry at me and call me some sort of a political, ist of some sort that I said that, but prove me wrong. By the way, them acquiring Evan Ingram, sneaky good.
Wait, who did that? The Broncos?
Yes.
Oh, that's sneaky good.
See, and you're over here
because they're healthy.
This is the best coach. No, it's not. No, it's not.
No, everyone when he's healthy, Giants drafted him. He's a good player when he's healthy.
Keep in mind, your boy. Well, he's not your boy. You're not a Giants fan, but a Giants fan's boy, Evan Ingram.
Calm down.
Had a career year with Trevor Lawrence and that Doug Peterson offense.
Yeah, I know that.
Imagine what he's going to do with a coach that spawned Jimmy Graham.
Yeah. Very good point. Very, very good point.
It's almost as if I made that point already on the Duval Dive.
Aaron Jones stays in Minnesota 2 years. I think 40 million. I think 2 years, 20 million. I think it was.
Part of having a successful offseason is keeping your guys in the building. And nowadays you can say that about college football with NIL. Am I right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's a solid move. Keep that guy, keep that offense humming,
Yeah.
Obviously the big question is going to be the quarterback.
Balance is the key to making any rookie successful. I don't think that's a stretch.
Yeah, 2 years, $20 million. I was correct on that.
Right.
All right, Daniel Jones on the Colts. Let me tell you something right now. Very possible he'll see some playing time because of AR-15 between injuries and play.
Ernest Christian.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Wow.
I mean, if you want to have a chance to reset your career and make the money doing it, 1 year, $14 million a year, go to Indy right now is not the best
guy
spot.
That got Gardner Minshew playing time. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
No,
and Joe Flacco.
Well, that's less surprising because Joe did what he did with the Browns the previous year. Right. By the way, Joe Flacco, 2 victories over the Jacksonville Jaguars as a backup as a starting backup. Granted, he split last year, but I mean, does it really count when you beat the Jags in Week 18 when they were obviously tanking for Travis Hunter? I'm joking.
Yeah.
No. But sure. Yeah. Danny Dimes is okay. Hot shot. Pop quiz. Over or under 3.5 games?
I might go over. I'm not gonna lie to you. I may go over.
The safe bet is the over. Moving on.
Josh Allen signs a record-setting extension with the Bills. 6 years, $330 million. I think $250 million that's guaranteed. Obviously, biggest contract in NFL history. To me, no surprise about the deal. To me, my question is more so set this market now. Who's next? Lamar, Pat Mahomes. They
both have deals already. Right?
Yeah, but not to say they wouldn't time up for another couple of years to make sure they
almost the correct answer. Since you went and picked the obvious ones, you want the correct answers?
Go right ahead, brother.
CJ Stroud, Jaden Daniels.
Yep. But I like the Josh Allen's top 3 guy in the league, MVP. So I mean, what are you gonna do? So I totally agree.
Exactly.
Yeah. Speaking of the Bills, Joey Bosa, we mentioned a little while earlier to the Bills, a 1-year deal. Is this the piece that put them on top?
Absolute horseshit. It really should have been the Bosa brothers in San Francisco, and I'm incredibly angry that this didn't happen. No,
Homer.
bro, come on. deep down, you would have been.
No. I get it. I get the narrative of it. I'm just saying that Niner fan of Kyle here.
Sure, but the fact that you said, "Oh, it's okay." I mean, you allegedly hate the 49ers.
Allegedly,
you cheer for every team. You would have loved it too. Anyways, no. I mean, it certainly doesn't hurt, right?
Yeah. I lost Von Miller. I mean,
Von Miller. It was time. He's had a good career. He did what he did.
Yeah. Finally, DeAndre Hopkins, D-Hop to the Ravens. He wasn't that good in KC, though. To be honest with you. So
well, hold on. Let's be careful with that. First of all, he was only there for half a year,
right?
And I think his job was more to school and perhaps give breathing room to the rest of the receivers. I don't know how healthy he may or may not have been.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps.
I mean, I'm open to him resetting in Baltimore with Lamar and company.
Let's
should
be
help.
honest. There's a history of aging receivers making a significant impact.
Right.
In Baltimore, right? Anquan Bolden, Steve Smith, Odell Beckham Jr., right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's all the notable free agent signings and transactions for this offseason.
Sure glad I brought up Evan Ingram to you because, boy, you whiffed on that shit.
Evan Ingram's out of sight of the mind now for me. That's
yeah,
your
even
guy.
though he had a career year, the moment it's a good thing you're not a Giants fan. You'd have been pissed.
I'm pissed that we lost him also too because he could be a real good player in New York because stay healthy. And I not like I didn't want him to be there, but just he can stay healthy, and they made a decision to do that. So
it would seem your Saquon bark is louder than your bite.
I can't stand you. Moving on. All right, shut up. Fix your face. All right.
Is that what I'm going to say next time you bring up the tooth gap? Fix your face.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so NBA, a little NBA talk, but more so about NBA media.
Yeah. I mean, you were supposed to lead with this, but hey, you're the host.
No.
Of the show.
No. I had NFL stuff I had to get off my chest first. So, NBA media fighting against NBA players across the board. A lot going on there.
Well, it's mostly NBA. It's media on media crime, which I know you explore in depth. You Lebitard wannabe, you. So by the way, I don't mean that as a negative necessarily.
No. So you have NBA media against NBA media. First off,
yes.
I'm gonna play. You brought this up actually last week on the show.
I did because it made me laugh a lot.
Yeah, Charles Barkley. So a little behind the curtain here. Charles Barkley and inside the NBA, they're gonna be going to ESPN next year. Okay, right. So the fact he had the balls to call out guys at his future employer is actually kind of crazy, but it's also is what Charles Barkley does. That's why I love him so much. So Charles Barkley, I'm gonna play this entire clip from 2 weeks ago. I think it was on Inside the NBA, calling out Kendrick Perkins, who made for the record, a trash take anyway. So I agree with Charles on this one. It has something to do with the fact that
what was the take? First of all,
the take was basically that no one talks about the Thunder and the Cavs because he's called out Perk because all they do is suck off the Lakers all the time, Lakers and the Warriors and whatnot. Even though
I thought you said Sam Perkins had the bad take.
No, Kendrick Perkins
or Kendrick. Excuse me. I thought you said Kendrick Perkins.
He did. So Charles called him out. And of course, I'm gonna play the entire 3-minute clip. It's worth watching the entire thing because it's so great. So Charles,
idiot on TV talking about the Lakers saved the NBA.
Save the NBA.
Yeah. He's an idiot and a fool, but he know he is. What's his name, Shaq?
Which one you talking about?
Kendrick Perkins.
Oh,
he said the Lakers. First of all, the Lakers have had a great 2 weeks. He said the Lakers saved the NBA season. That's because them fools on the other network, which we're gonna be work for next year. That's all they talk about. Let me tell y'all something.
Tell me something.
And first of all, I want all the smoke. I don't whistle when I walk by the graveyard or anything like that.
I don't whistle when I walk by the graveyard.
Right.
I like that.
Hey, man,
I'm stealing that one.
The Lakers are doing great. Got a long way to go. But the reason the season's been going great for the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Y'all just want to talk about the Warriors and the Lakers. They're both doing great. Don't get me wrong. If I turn out to be wrong, I got no problem with that. But y'all are idiots because y'all talk about the Lakers and the Warriors all the time. Y'all don't. The Cleveland Cavaliers have won 12 straight games. The Oklahoma City got the MVP, and they are on fire. Y'all are talking about who's in second place. That's the reason I get pissed. Hey, the Lakers are doing great. I don't mind being wrong. The Warriors are doing great. But that's because you fools on other networks, which we gonna become fools next year. We'll be working on that
I don't
network.
suck, dude.
But Oklahoma City and the Cavs been balling for 6 months.
And he's right.
Y'all talking about teams that had two great weeks.
Time out. I get what you're saying. You just went at the whole network. You're not even
They talk about the same
whole
stuff.
industry.
Whole industry. They talk about the same stuff every single day.
I would have to, but you know, there's
Is there some credit? Is there some credit to be handed out here?
Yes. But don't say basketball's only watching now. First of all, between that and this lame ass LeBron Michael Jordan debate, which is lame. I've said for years, the only people talk about LeBron and Michael is people on television who got no talent to talk about anything else. I've been saying that for years. I ain't hanging on to the 90s. I've always said LeBron's great, Michael's great. But y'all talk about it all the time and then got LeBron out there posing, talking about he all mad about being the face of the league. But it makes me mad. The Oklahoma City and the Cleveland Cavaliers are the two best stories in the NBA this year. Congratulations to the Lakers and the Warriors. They've had 2 good weeks. The Cavs and OKC have had 6 great months.
Okay. Tell us how you really feel.
What's Shaq's reaction?
Shaq's a birthday man. All right. Is this one of your favorite rants of all time?
Yes, it is. Thank you. I needed it on my birthday. You all right now, Chuck?
I'm good now. Happy birthday, big fella. Happy birthday, Kenneth.
Thank you. My first one, my best one.
Oh my God, that was great. This is why I love that show so much, dude.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's never the basketball talk that makes Inside the NBA great. Listen, couple things, full disclosure. I'm a Charles Barkley fan, period,
Likewise.
point blank. And no, you don't understand, Ernest Christian. I am a Charles Barkley fan, period, point blank, end of story.
I'm talking like a stan.
What's that?
I'm talking like a stan. I've been a diehard
Hey,
since
shut the fuck
1992.
up and get in line because you're about to be behind me. Okay?
Oh God, here we go.
Did you own his book, The Wit and Wisdom of Charles Barkley as a middle school?
I sure did.
My fucking dude.
I
Was
sure
he
did.
your first sports jersey that you ever had?
I was
at
poor, so
home
I couldn't
in
afford jerseys back then.
in 1992?
I
No,
couldn't
the
afford jerseys.
fuck
I was
he
poor.
wasn't.
I was poor.
You did. Now you Poe. Then why are you supporting Trump? Anyways, so
That is so fucked up, dude.
that's why it's funny.
No, I don't Trump for the record. So go ahead.
No, he doesn't. And like,
Allegedly,
Jesus Christ.
we burn the lines,
Point
everybody.
is the way I felt about Charles Barkley. I have his son's jersey. I have his Rockets jersey. I don't think it fits anymore. But the point is,
Hey, real quick, before we get to this quick, out of fairness to Kendrick Perkins, he did respond.
we're gonna get to that.
No, I have the video here.
But I'm sure you do.
It's very quick. It's like less than a minute. So
Well, okay.
real quick. So just to get out of the way, then we can react to the whole entire thing here. If I can just play this properly. Hold on. Get out of here. Get out of here. This thing's responding a little slower. There we go. Sorry about that. Where's it at? Right there. Here it is.
Here's the problem that I had with Chuck. He's covering the Lakers game. Halftime, they show that crazy ass dunk that Braun done that fucking little baby ceiling fan through the lane, which was fucking crazy. Then he goes to talking about the Lakers. And when he's talking about the Lakers, he says, yes, you got Braun and AD, and then you got the rest of them bums. That shit right there pissed me off. There's no player in the fucking league that should be deserve to be called a bum. Like, you make it to this level for a reason. Like, and when you're talking and you have a platform like that, you shouldn't be disrespecting players like that and calling them no bums, man. That shit is not cool. That shit is not right. I know people say, oh, that's just Chuck. But these guys also have families and kids that are watching. And these guys worked hard to get to these points. And they're not bums. Like, I think the choice of words, you know, and how we describe and how we talk about guys, like, we do got to hold ourselves accountable. I'm standing with JJ on this one. And when it comes down to talking about
JJ
LeBron
Redick.
and talking about Steph, yes, we're going to talk about them religiously until they retire because they have done so much for the game of basketball.
Okay.
I love how he doesn't address the actual take of the Lakers saving basketball. And by the way, if we're so worried about people's families with having opinions that are derogatory of them and stuff, what about all the voters for Joker that you called?
Thank you. Hello.
Asshole?
Hello.
What about that? Why aren't you held accountable for that? How
Thank
come
you.
you haven't apologized for that?
Yep.
But
Yep. You're
let's
right.
stick to the take that's actually out there. if you want the Lakers to save the league, Chuck did it better than your sorry ass ever did. He's using the Lakers to point out the rest of the league. And you know what I'm going to do? I cover the Magic, and I've seen the Minnesota Timberwolves enough to where they've been playing good basketball.
On a roll right now.
Should get more. Thank you, and should get more attention drawn to them. Everybody understands that you have to talk about LeBron and Steph a lot. It's adorable. I don't think the Warriors are anything real. Everybody's decided that the Lakers are going to win the NBA championship. I think that too was a drug-induced take.
Agreed.
But to point out and give the Cavs credit, to give the Oklahoma City Thunder credit for the guy who's probably going to be your MVP, if you're that much worried about accountability and raising the NBA viewership up, the thing to do was to call Charles Barkley and be like, yo, here's the problem I have. Doing this publicly just makes you look stupid, which Kendrick Perkins does every time he has an NBA take. You know, for all the jokes I make about your NBA prowess or lack thereof, I should say, EJ Christian.
Oh, what? I taught you everything you know. I taught you. So if you shit the bed, it's because it's
again. Here you go, stopping the plane from getting landed. I'm trying to tell you you're better than Kendrick Perkins, but apparently you're not because you can't.
That's a low bar. Apparently, that's a low bar, brother.
Points. It's a low bar, brother. You know.
I hate you sometimes, but I think the problem, and this is where I'll actually kind of sort of
you would
not agree with Kendrick Perkins because I think he's ridiculous, but the ESPN does overtalk with the LeBron Curry thing, and right so, but there's so much space of programming,
correct,
and then they ignore some of the great stories going on right now in the league. Look at the Cavs. The Cavs now have what 3 or 4 12+ win streaks this year alone, and we still got a month of this season to go.
Magic the other night.
I know, I saw that. You know, you have that story. You have OKC dominating right now. Shea, a phenomenal MVP race right now, where Jokic might be an MVP, but at the same time, Shea's team's up 12.5 games in the standings.
Shea's going to get it, dude. What are we talking about?
Yeah, I agree. He should, because wins losses should matter too. Also, not to mention he lost his best second best guy.
I agree.
Not to mention he lost his second best guy. During the during the season 2 on
the very same thing that gave Joker an MVP in the past, by the way.
Thank you. Using the same argument, So again, it's it's ridiculous to sit there and I get that, but if ESPN's coverage is a little more balanced and nuanced, I would say fine, but it's not, and that's where Chuck has a point.
And I think also Ernie is again Ernie. The most underappreciated member of that panel, Ernie Johnson, and not just because he's a ringmaster that has to try to make that circus perform, but everyone's like, "Oh, you're going after ESPN." He's going after the industry. Did you notice Ernie put that in there in the background? He's attacking media as it exists, Charles Barkley, and that's what we need. Kendrick Perkins is a shill for that same industry, right. So him responding is not credible.
One last thing, also, you had criticism for my video I put out. I should play it on here. Actually, you know what?
It's more about your clickbaity title than anything else. But
yeah, so I had put out a video. I did a conversation last week with Greg Hernia, which we're actually going to record that and actually be done with this episode with you. Talk about LeBron James and the Stephen A. Smith debacle, and basically maybe look at lady to some degree. Whatever, you'll get over it, of course, because that's what you do. But you took issue with me in the fact that I was pretty harsh on LeBron, saying that he was dead ass wrong for
clarity.
Stephen A. Go ahead.
Everybody out there in your audience, you've made extreme takes before in the past.
You're damn right.
I called you out. We've had it on the show.
Nothing wrong with that. That's what we do here.
Every time we've done that, you've been like, okay, there's this other perspective I didn't think of. And at the very least, it's common ground, if not outright retraction from you.
Right.
So we'll leave that at that.
Right. So you had an issue. I'm trying to find a clip here before we get started, because I'm going to put context for the listeners.
All right. And I think the title of it is LeBron James is dead ass wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
which he is dead ass wrong.
Fascinating tick. Well, we'll see. We'll let the audience decide. You sound like an official that's that's looking at the replay of his own call. We know you're not going to overturn it. You're the motherfucker that got it wrong. So
By the way, I did find it.
I can't do a better job than that of stalling for you.
No, I do appreciate. This is why you and I work. Okay, here's the quick. It's only 20 seconds.
Carry your show. Is that why we work? Because I carry your show.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Oh, here's the take real quick. This is talking about here.
Go ahead.
You're the one that decided to put his kid in a position to fail because you're the one that came with all the bravado about, oh, this kid's NBA ready and he's better half the league and this stuff. And now you're getting mad about that because you want to set up this way, and then we see it's like, no, like stop. Like, you know damn well if it wasn't for you being who you are and your stature, this kid wouldn't even be sniffing the league right now. So stop. Okay, no one's entitled to that. Okay, and you don't get to dictate. You don't get to dictate how we feel about it. Okay, okay. Go ahead and speak your thoughts on this. I already spoken my piece on this already once.
Your clip there is adorable.
Thank you.
I think it's wildly short-sighted though on a particular thing, right?
Okay.
As a rule, yes, obviously people are allowed to feel the way that they feel, and Stephen A. Smith being one of those people. However, this has another side to it. First of all, I don't think it's just as simple as LeBron dictating. We've talked about this on this show. Bronny's cardiac episode that he had could have, and probably is now we're seeing it, should have ended his career. But you're going to tell me as a father yourself, yes, I'm playing this card. If you're going to tell me as a father yourself that you would not give your kid a chance to bounce back from a life-altering event like a cardiac event, and give him a chance to succeed where he may have due to, where he would have done well, but was stymied thanks to an event beyond his control. If you're going to tell me you wouldn't have stepped in to try to put him back on that trajectory to get where you think he could get, you're lying. Next. With Bronny being in the league by his dictation, he doesn't get to dictate. No, sir, he does. Now, granted, he's not our GOAT, but you and I both respect people who think he's the GOAT. And as the greatest player of all time, who has played in the NBA for over 20 years, he gets that right, in my opinion, that if he wants to play with his kid, he should get the chance to do that. He did it. To criticize that is an option. But you've watched Game of Thrones, right? You remember the scene that introduces Tywin Lannister. Mm-hmm. He's slaughtering the deer and all that. Where are you going with this, Kyle? Hear me out. Remember, at the time of that episode, Tyrion Lannister was captured by the Starks at the Vale. And Jaime Lannister was claiming that he cared more what other people thought by challenging that. And he said, no, that's a fact. The longer somebody holds my son with impunity, the weaker our family name is. Right?
Right.
Let me transfer it to this. The longer Braun lets a voice who is internationally prominent as Stephen A. Smith attack his son with impunity, that weakens the LeBron James brand.
So, okay.
Maybe he was wrong in doing it. But I don't think LeBron James did it because he thinks Stephen A. Smith shouldn't have an opinion. I think he did it to protect his son, to be, in his mind, a good dad, especially with somebody as LeBron James that didn't grow up with a father present.
Right.
And he did it just as much, well, maybe not just as much, but at least tangentially, peripherally, pick your word, to protect his brand. Stephen A. Smith, if left to impunity, will impugn you. And I'm not saying he shouldn't, by the way.
But the issue, and I'm not saying you're wrong what you said there. This is where I called him out for this. He wasn't criticizing Bronny at all. Okay, other than his basketball play, which was very little we've seen in the NBA because he's played a couple of games. He went to G League most of the year.
Right.
Stephen A. Smith was criticizing LeBron James himself for putting his son in a position to be overly criticized like this. Remember, LeBron James was the one that said last year and tweeted last year before he got drafted that
you kinda
my
make the
kid.
point me, but
No. My kid is better than half the league. He set the narrative up like that way.
So that's up there with, oh, he said the Miami Heat were going to win 6 or 7 championships. What he says is a pep rally, y'all take too serious.
I have no problem with LeBron doing what he did to set him up some of his kid. I do the same damn thing too. Also, my point is, but you don't get to dictate how the narrative is set. If I see Bronny James on the court and looks like an NBA ready player, I'm going to call out to what I see. That's it.
But if you let Stephen A go after you through your kid, because that's still what's happening. Maybe he's not criticizing Bronny. If that's the take you have, I'm not prepared to argue with that part. I'm not saying that that's inaccurate or not. But LeBron, the moment you bring family in, you're compelled to get involved.
Agreed, but again, this is also.
But if you've agreed with it, then how is he dead ass wrong for calling out Steve?
Because LeBron, because again, he's calling out LeBron, not Bronny. And again, the very fact that LeBron James confronted Stephen A. Smith, thinking that don't talk about my son. It wasn't about your kid. He's talking about you. He's attacking you, LeBron James, not Bronny James. LeBron James.
If you're going after LeBron, the GM, that's one thing. But again, you did it by evoking his kid's name. Yes, he criticized you, LeBron, not Bronny. You could spin whatever different phrase to tell me he's not talking about Bronny James directly. That's not the point.
Right.
It's the fact that Bronny was still used as a resource. Again, this isn't me saying that Stephen A. Smith shouldn't do that. This isn't me saying that Stephen A. Smith can't do that. I'm telling you, and Stephen A. Smith's good enough at his damn job that he probably knew something like this was coming. Dare I even say he calculated the ish. And LeBron James knows that. He knows the only reason that Stephen A. Smith is coming after him is because he is who he is. And he has to do his best to curtail and control it. I don't think
but LeBron should know that anything like this is huge news about how you slice it. So
that's why he has about it. That's my point.
Now, the one thing also about calculating about Stephen A. Smith is that ever since that whole incident, he's gone on every single fucking talk show that can have him to talk about the situation. So he's actually used this and monetized it, on his show, on the Breakfast Club, on Gil. No, right. I just told you that.
Did I not say it was calculated?
I just told you. I'm saying after,
he was playing it.
But Kyle, I said after the fact. You said leaning up. You said leaning up.
You don't think Stephen A. Smith, in the back of his mind, didn't think that might happen? Come on, fam.
Of course. No. Of course. Yes. And he's still right. Because the reason why is that, and I listen to Stephen A. Smith all the time, so I have a little more insight because I do listen to his commentary. He's never said anything inflammatory about LeBron at all. So that's why I was flabbergasted. Like, what is LeBron mad about?
You're missing everything. The moment you say anything about Bronny inflammatory, you've blown it.
Well, guess what? LeBron James, if you watch this podcast, get the fuck over it. How about that? Get the fuck over it.
Okay, so you as a father is telling another father to get over somebody using his son to leverage against him.
Okay, but again, this comes to the territory. LeBron set this up. Again,
that doesn't mean he has to sit there and take it.
No, and I'm okay. I'm okay with LeBron coming back to me. I don't have a problem with it. Just
hold on. I'm going to tell you how it's dead ass wrong to do it. I thought
you still did ass wrong. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it how you want. I'm gonna call your ass out for doing it.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
He can do it. But this
doesn't
make sense.
He can do it if he wants to.
So what should he have done, Ernest Christian? And get the fuck over it isn't an answer.
Well, first off,
should he have done?
If it was that big a fucking deal, number one, pull him aside. He has the number. They have the numbers. He can hold Stephen A. Smith and talk to him on the side. Clearly, this was calculated on both sides. LeBron knew that confronting Stephen A. Smith in the middle of a game, in the first quarter of a game, people are going to watch that shit and take for what it was, as evidence of what happened after that. So
it could be
so again, he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing.
That's the part you're missing, though. Let me clear that up a little bit more. What you just said, what actually is there, right?
Right.
It's one thing if Stephen A. Smith does it, and he's going to continue to do it. You can't put that toothpaste in the tube. But that was I think that was more a warning shot for all the other trickle down that might make it trendy to jump on that bandwagon.
Right.
You can do it. I'm come for you.
Yeah.
Right? The Sam Perkinses aren't going to do it now. He ain't going to have the spine.
Or Kendrick Perkins.
I keep saying Sam. Kendrick Perkins.
Sam's a good player, by the way. Sam was a great player.
And didn't they both? I forget where did Kendrick play for Seattle as well? I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
Well, OKC, but no, that's Seattle.
This is why I keep doing it.
He played for the Celtics. He's in green Celtics. So.
Well, no, I'm actually thinking because like
the Sonics were green also too. That's why.
Anyways.
And the Thunder are technically old
in
Thunder.
The old Tecmo basketball game in '95, I used Sam Perkins in their starting lineup all the time.
The Lakers or the Sonics? The Sonics, right?
Sean Kemp was my dude. Let me tell you,
Hersey Hawkins. Let's go.
Woo!
Let's go.
You throwing it as him and Charles? Did he played with Charles Shackelford, right? Anyways,
he did. I think he did. Anyway,
knowledge is better than yours. I touch everything.
Calm your ass down. Your ego. Calm your ass down, bro. I know it's March, okay?
My
Calm your
ego
ass
is
down.
the whole reason you bring me on the show. Stop being a bitch.
That's very true. Oh, wait, fuck you. Plug away.
But anyway,
wait, one more thing. What we got here?
I'm never gonna talk trash on Bronny. That's for sure. Or even tangential.
No.
Because I don't need LeBron James coming up to the media loge.
Let me ask you this.
He comes to town here in Orlando.
Talking trash and critiquing his basketball play are two different things.
Yes, obviously.
That's what I'm saying.
Relax, fam. I'm trying to hit home the warning shot,
right?
Theory that I'm telling you.
I'm calling out LeBron too. Also, calm your ass down. LeBron James, calm your fucking ass down.
See that? Well, then you don't want to hear my response to that because it would be cruel. But yeah,
I won't calm down.
Am I stopping you from doing it? And you do it at your own risk. Me, I got too much to lose, man. I'm just saying.
Bitch plug.
Of course. I'm Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at the SOTG. Who's Braun? Yeah, right. Of course, check me out on Fans First Sports Network, where I write things Jaguar and Orlando Magic, as well as my work with the Black and Gold Banneret and the Night Shift podcast. That's right, EJ Christian. They rebranded.
The Night Shift?
They rebranded the Black and Gold Banneret podcast and YouTube channel to be the Night Shift. So make sure you check that out on the Night Shift. Yeah, exactly. I have done that on the show. I'm proud to report to you, my friend. Of course, more importantly, check out the Duval Dive with my guy, my personal champion, Travis D. Holmes of Big Cat Country, as we talk all things Jaguar. By the way, Ernest Christian, I don't know if you happened to ponder the latest episode, but I talk about how Trevor Lawrence's injury last year has a whole lot of silver lining and why the Jags are able to pivot this offseason. You might be curious. It's a good thought exercise. So
we'll do that. Yes.
For my good friend, Ernest EJ Christian, an honor, joy, and privilege.
Wait. Before we close it out.
Yes.
Just to kind of, so there's some comments here. People are asking about when we're going to start covering the March Madness. Obviously,
how about you?
No, we're going to cover it on the next episode. That's recording another podcast in about a couple minutes, discussing NBA, but we're actually touch on the bracket a little bit too as well on that side as well too. So yes, that's coming up in the very next episode recorded. That's actually happening in 5 minutes. So
I cover college basketball for UCF and the Black and Gold Banneret, but it's hard for me to get into March Madness, man.
I get it. But I did a bracket already too also. So we'll be covering that on the very next episode we record actually live again in 5 minutes. So
I don't know.
But yeah,
I can't front on that. Good luck. Have fun with that. And until next time, my friend, class dismissed.